All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Yes and, the podcast about all things Arcadia Theater. I'm your host, Zara Peters, and today I will be talking to two phenomenal actors. Would you guys like to introduce yourselves?
No. No, I'm kidding. I'm sorry. My name is Raymond. I am a freshman theater major. And.
Pronouns?
Oh, right. My pronouns are he, him, and I am very, very excited to be on the podcast.
Slay.
My name is Blake. I'm also a theater major. Pronouns are he, him, and I'm also very excited to be here.
Slay. All right, so today we are going to be discussing our upcoming production of The Laramie Project by Moises Kaufman, which is happening here on Arcadia campus in the Little Theater, November 16th through 19th. And also what it's like to be a freshman in the theater program here at Arcadia, because you guys are both freshmen, and you guys are both in the show. Speaking of The Laramie Project and you both being in the show, you both play several roles in The Laramie Project. You guys want to walk me through some of your bigger roles, or how many roles you play, / what are your favorites, all that kind of stuff?
Okay. So, yeah, I play a couple of big roles. I think the one of the most major roles that I play is Rob Debris, who is the detective in the Matthew Shepard case, who really drives the whole thing. I also play John Peacock, who was his academic advisor. And those are two people that I play pretty commonly, and I think they bring a lot of the story forward. So yeah.
Slay. Blake?
I play Moises Kaufman, who wrote the play. I play Matt Galloway, who was the bartender who saw Matthew Shepard the night he was taken. I also play a reporter and many other narrator roles.
Very slay. This is really funny to see the drastic change in the dynamic the second we started filming. But okay, so we're gonna go walk through some other bullet points / questions. So first, starting off, I asked this to some of our other actors that were here the other day, Christian, Rosa, and Riley, about what the audition process / callback process was like for this show. Which specifically, I came up with a question to ask you guys specifically because this was your first audition at Arcadia. So how did that go? Like, how's that different from like stuff you've done before? Was it pretty similar? Do you guys have specific things that you guys do specifically to like prep for an audition? Anything like that?
So okay.
What? I love how serious.
Yes, this is exactly how I am off camera.
Professional.
No, when auditioning, I just kind of go like headfirst into it. I don't really do much to prepare beforehand. I don't really have like a lot of rituals. I go in. If I'm given any material, I study the material and I do the first thing that comes to mind and the first thing that feels right. And then after I review that, I kind of just work with it and see what other choices I can make. And for Laramie specifically, we were doing partner auditions, and so I was partnered with Casey, who was also in the show, an amazing actor.
Slay, Casey friend.
Come see Casey in the show. Oh my
Love
God,
Casey.
And yeah, so we were working together, and I just heard a lot of like really cool, like collaborative conversations about what choices to make and how they make choices and how they view the scenes. Like all the people that were auditioning, not just me and Casey. And, it was just a really enlightening experience, and I took some of that with me into the audition room. And, I'm just glad that I got to work with the people that I get to work with because it came out to be a very beautiful cast and, just go in head first.
Yeah, auditions are really fun because you get to meet a lot of people that, like, because it's the first time that a lot of people are kind of meeting each other.
And everybody hitting themselves at the same time.
Exactly. Don't worry, we can bleep that or something else. I actually don't even know if we're allowed to curse on this podcast. Probably not, but something to figure out for the future. How about you, Blake?
We shall see. I had a similar experience, obviously, but I'm very, very thankful, and I'm very happy that I got to meet other people in the program, so I can kind of get a feel for like how it is, and I'm very thankful that it is such a fun program and it's such a fun process with everyone. It's different from what I'm used to because for callbacks we had we had to prepare like multiple scenes, and I'm only used to doing like one. So that was really fun to kind of differ the choices, and it kind of got me prepared for the show because we're all playing different characters. So that was really fun.
Yeah. leading into that, the rehearsal process, what was that like comparative to like other shows that you've done? Like, I can tell you're excited about this. No. But because this is both of your first shows, so in combination with like kind of just like getting acquainted to like the campus and like all your classes and stuff like that, how has that been with the Laramie Project? Because it's rough because there's a lot of characters. Not only is it rough content, but it's a lot of characters to play and a lot of stuff like that. And I think it's a real acting challenge. But like you guys were all killing it when I saw the designer run, and I was like I was very excited about it. So you definitely want to come out and see it. It's really really good. But like, what was that like? We also don't have to keep going in order unless that's what you want to do.
That's totally fine.
But Blake's like, please don't let me go first.
I see in the corner of my eye, he's just like,
yeah, no. Of course, yeah.
Yes. But kind of like leading into that, like the rehearsal process, like what is that like comparative to other stuff you've done /
okay.
the slow turn.
So for me, this is my first play. Well, this is both of our first plays at Arcadia, but this is the first play I've also done ever.
Like straight
Oh my
play.
god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it was just so exciting to go through the whole process and just like see how we go through this process and working with our amazing directors and stage management and this beautiful cast, but also just putting everything together and just having that space and that time to do that and having so much time to do that because we go in during rehearsals and it's fun, but it's also very professional and it's very smooth, and I just really love how the process is in general, and I'm so excited to do the show because we've gone so far with the rehearsal process. So yeah,
I agree. When we did character work where we did stuff with KP and just I don't know, just that it's the different approach that Arcadia takes into kind of putting yourself in your character's shoes and just getting a feel for the world around. It's very nice. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I really liked how like in depth the process seems, which was a contrast to what I had experienced previously from like other stuff that I had done.
Yeah, I had never experienced anything like that before.
Yeah.
Because he was just like, oh, we're gonna be working with KP. And
I love KP. KP is the
KP.
head of our theater department, who I definitely want to get on a podcast. We were literally talking about it earlier. But stay tuned for that one of these days.
Yeah, I loved the work that she did because I was just like, I've never seen this before.
Yeah.
It was called Laban work, which Rosa brought up in the last episode, which you guys should watch if you haven't
if you haven't watched episode 2, then what are you doing here?
Exactly.
I mean, continue watching this one too, but like,
Exactly. Don't leave.
Don't leave, please.
But it was really interesting to see because before, whenever I would be acting, I would just be like, okay, what do I think this character would do? And blah, 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 blah. But there's so much more to it that I didn't realize. And doing that work just really helped me bring it out even more. And I was just like, oh, snap. This person is a slasher. And it was just really interesting to... It was really interesting.
I mentioned in the last podcast when I was like talking about it then, like you guys like all like I could see such like there was such distinction between all of the characters both in like vocal quality and like body movement, like the way that like people were held and everything like that, and it was really entertaining to watch, like as someone who like obviously loves acting, and obviously like I know all of you guys, so I like seeing like the contrast of like, oh, I can tell like that's like how Ray acts like in like person a little bit more than like this character, and like, oh my god, this character is completely different from how he acts like normally, or like the vocal quality like dropping and going up and down and all these like very specific like movements and stuff, so like that was really entertaining to see, and like all that kind of stuff.
I really enjoy the challenge of playing multiple characters in one play. Just like I don't know, just the
showing
contrast.
your range.
Yeah, just the contrast. Yeah,
it's very challenging. It's very.
I bet. Like I walked in and I was like, dang, like this is it's truly like impressive like to watch like your friends who are like you already think are talented actors like really like go through and show like what they are capable of. But my next question, which we kind of touched on a little bit before, but the Laramie Project it's a rough show. It's a rough show to kind of do. It's got some difficult content. How does that affect like your approach to the show, like as an actor, and also how does that affect you guys personally? If it does, we were talking in the last episode of like how the 25th anniversary of Matthew Shepard's death was like I think on like the first or second day of rehearsal, when you guys were doing table work, and how that was kind of rough, but like what has that been like, both like prepping as an actor and just as an individual?
Yeah, so I did not know about the story at
I
all
didn't
going into
either,
this.
yeah.
And like, you know, like a lot of people didn't know because it's been a story that's unfortunately kind of like died down since it
Yeah.
happened. But when I found out about it, I just thought like, damn, this is a story that needs to be told.
Mm-hmm.
And reading through it was you know, obviously already a very strong experience to have.
Mm-hmm.
But once we started really working through the show and like actually like getting those emotions out and like kind of just moving the script around and having that being brought out by the cast, it's a entirely different experience, and it just really makes you think like about the world again. It's one of those stories that just really makes you think like, wow, these things do happen. This thing has happened.
Yeah.
How can we make sure it doesn't happen again?
Even crazier is like I'm more used to, like, I've done mostly comedies in my acting, and then to make a switch to just something so serious is refreshing, and I really enjoy. Maybe enjoy is the wrong word. I just I don't know, just something that because it's so important makes it feel that much more special.
Mm-hmm.
It gives it a different kind of weight,
Right,
than other things do.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. I personally, I'm like, I do dramas over comedy. That's like just how I like do. I really connect with like the emotions of piece, which so like watching this show, I was like, man, because like there's obviously there's moments of comedy in the show, but it was really fascinating to see kind of that balance.
Yeah, for me, I the reason why like I love theater so much, and personally why I got into theater, was because of experiencing like those emotions that theater can like really make you feel when a story is just executed on stage, like just so genuinely.
Yeah.
And feeling that feeling just made me so happy, and it's just like I want to be able to bring that feeling to other people and share that with other people because it's really important to me. And this is a story that, even though it's not a comedy or like a musical with like, you know, lyrics and stuff that, you know, can bring out emotion in more specific ways, the story alone, the story in general, certain moments in the story, and obviously in certain monologues and just certain characters overall just really make you feel that emotion.
Really hit home.
And and you don't have to feel a happy feeling or feel like a comedy feeling or just be like, oh my God, those actors were so good on stage. You know, I think realizing that, you know, these aren't just actors, these are people portraying real life people for this story specifically, and just really getting that message across, it makes it so much more intense, and it makes the emotion so much more intense, which I think the show is amazing with, and it's another reason I'm really happy to be working on this show as well.
Yeah, heading into a little bit of a different road, but it was mentioning by something you said that I honestly think is fitting for this podcast, because we're talking about, like, you guys are both freshmen. I'm a sophomore. I haven't, been around for, like, a super long time here. But, like, because you mentioned, like, that's, like, why you got into acting. Do you guys want to, like, tell a story, if you have, like, a story of, like, how you originally got into acting? Because, like, obviously, like, we're making the decision to do this, like, as careers, which is kind of a big choice. Like, we, are going to college for this. So it's, like, how did y'all get into that? And how did you, like, figure out, like, yeah, this is what, like, I want to do?
I'll take it. So I've been doing plays since elementary school, just like the school plays and stuff like that. And my mom, I've seen all these videos of just like baby me, just like in the living room, just like busting a move and stuff like that in my PJs. Christian's laughing behind the camera because I showed the video last night. But I don't know. I've always been just a very lively person. I love expressing myself through song and dance, and so theater just felt like the way to go. So I remember in 5th grade, I was doing the school play or whatever, and then we went to a field trip to the middle school to go see The Lion King Jr. that they were doing.
That was my first show that I did.
And so I'm sitting there, and I remember the exact spot I sat in. I sat there, and I'm looking at all the lights, I'm looking at the stage, and then once the show's over, I'm like, man, I want to be on the stage. I want to do that. I want to make people feel.
That's so cute,
Raymond
especially
said.
how you
That's
can tell, like,
adorable.
you, like, remember that
Right.
specific memory.
Like,
It's, like,
the way
core memory.
Raymond kind of took the words out of my mouth. I want people to feel the way I feel about theater and being able to convey that emotion, how important theater is to me on the stage, and then make someone who's just watching in their seat feel that same way is really why I'm
So
here.
you just you've known since, like,
Kind of, yeah.
the whole time.
And so
Was it even a question when you were, like, were starting to look at colleges?
not really. I mean, I was not really. Not really. No.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
it's really,
beautiful.
like, sticking to a path. How about you?
I love that. When I was younger, I like sung all the time. Like I'm a very musical person, and I've been singing since I was 4, and like I just grew up like around music and stuff like that. And the reason why this is my first play is because, well, like during COVID and whatever and whatnot, I didn't have the chance to do many shows,
Yeah.
but I had only done like musical productions and like musical like experiences, and I wanted to focus on acting when I came here, but I didn't know what I wanted to go to college for at all. Like I was struggling. Junior year was a trip, and so,
Real.
and so the summer after junior year, I was thinking of going to college for psychology and for therapy.
Me too.
Real.
I'm a psych minor, so.
Real. But yeah, the summer after I was thinking of going into it like that. But then my best friends, my best friends were also theater geeks because we were like all
Oh,
like
of
that.
course.
Damn.
But they, they were doing their own productions during the summer. One was Percy Jackson. And Percy Jackson, I know.
I'm sorry.
It's so.
Side tangent, I adore Percy Jackson,
It's
which
so good.
everyone in this room is well
It was
aware
so
of. And everyone
good.
behind the camera is like fist pumping for.
Absolutely.
Watch this show.
that's
It's coming
real.
out on Disney
See?
Plus December 20th. I
Exactly.
literally have a Percy Jackson tattoo.
Watch the
so.
show. There is
Anyways,
a
yeah.
slime tutorial on YouTube. Anyway, but yeah, no, she was Annabeth in Percy Jackson the Lightning Thief. It was
Yeah.
so good, and I love her so much. And that was like a gorgeous performance. Her and her best friend were Percy
That's so
and
cute.
Annabeth, and it was so cute.
I love that.
And then my other best friend was originating a role in a new musical that his director was working on.
Oh my gosh.
And it was a beautiful story. It's called Boundless. It's about the main character who is an Amish teenage woman, and she's discovering herself and trying to find out like what path of life she's gonna go on, if she's staying with
Yeah.
family or leaving. But he was originating the male love interest in that.
That's so cool.
And it was such a beautiful story. And
Yeah.
after seeing both of those shows, I remember just thinking, whoa, this is
Yeah.
what I want to do.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I went into senior year. I was just like, okay, like I know what I want to do now. I'm going into musical theater.
Yeah.
And, and then I found Arcadia.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
was
you
just like,
guys are both MTs too.
Yep.
I don't know
Yeah.
if we mentioned that.
Yep.
Music, their concentration in musical theater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you both are very, very talented singers
Thank
as
you.
well.
Oh,
Like, if
awesome.
we ever post any, I think there's a few videos on the TikTok of some of the, I don't remember I was gonna say the handle, but I don't remember what the handle. Arcadia Theater on TikTok. But there's a.
It's just
I think it's just Arcadia Theater. I think there's an underscore in there somewhere, or like a 1 or something. Christian's nodding vigorously.
Arcadia.theater_222.
Something. It's something like that. But there's I think some clips of some of the performances on there. I don't know. Yours is definitely on there. I think
I forgot to submit mine.
Oh.
you should submit yours. But in the future, we're hoping to post more from like the recitals and stuff. So check those out. / keep an eye out for those because you guys are both very talented.
Thank you.
Stop it.
I was gonna say, what was I gonna say? Oh, I was gonna say, because you mentioned Lion King, how I got into theater was, I didn't mean to. I accidentally, it was an accident.
You didn't choose theater, it chose
It
you.
chose me. But I was the shyest kid you'd ever
Oh,
met, which
yeah.
is completely different to how I am now. But like cripplingly so. Like I also was a very sick kid. So like the teacher once, like when I was younger, I was like talking a lot one day in school, and then the teacher sent me home because she thought something was wrong with me. I was just talkative. But like that's like how shy I was. But in 6th grade, all of my friends were doing, because I went to a really small school my entire life, so it was like 80 kids per grade. So like all of my friends, like 10 of them were like, they're doing Lion King Jr. So we're gonna go on our audition. And I was like, I like that movie. I'll do that. And so then I went and I did it, and I was like, wait, that was kind of fun, because I did not like play an actual role until my senior year of high school, but like I was like in ensemble roles, and I was like, that was fun. And then the year afterwards, they were doing Aladdin Jr., and none of my friends were doing it anymore, except for I think like one of them. And I was like, you know what? I had fun last year, so I'm gonna do it. Then I did it, and then I made like new friends in like different grade levels than me. And then 8th grade, like no one from my friend group did it, and I was like, that was fun. And then we did High School Musical Junior, which was horrible. But it was my first time having a role, because I played Kelsey, the little piano girl with the music cap. They cast me in that because I was an 8th grader. There was like 3 8th graders that were in it, and I was shy, so they cast me in that. And I was like, man, I need to pick an art for high school. I guess I'll do theater. And then I end up being in like 12 shows in my high school career, and I end up like, being troop president or whatever. And then I was like, well, I don't know what I want to do in college. I'm going to be going undeclared, knowing fully well that I was probably going to do acting.
Right.
So it just kind of happened. But it was like, it's really funny because like for me, like, if you've ever like received those questions, which is like is there ever like one decision that you made that's like made the biggest impact on your life? It's like that decision to do The Lion King was like the biggest decision I could have made, because like everyone who I'm friends with now, from high school, from middle school, in college now, they're all like because I met through theater, and all that kind of stuff.
I feel the same way.
Yeah.
And, when I got to middle school, my friend, my lifelong friend from like 2nd grade, was like, hey, they're doing Shrek the Musical Junior. You should definitely audition. I was like, that would be so much fun. Completely forgot about the day of audition. I'm on the bus. My friend's texting me. He's like, dude, where are you? And I'm like, no. And I have a full breakdown on the bus. I'm like, I can't do this. It's gonna be so bad. And then his dad comes, and he comes to pick me up from my house and drives me to the school.
That's so sweet.
That is a good friend.
And now we're here.
Look at that. That's crazy. Like, life is crazy like
Life is
that.
Crazy.
Bye, Christian.
Christian.
Christian setting.
Bye,
Yeah.
Christian.
Bye, Christian.
Come see Christian in the Laramie Project November 16th.
Exactly.
That's an
And also,
amazing
you can
actor.
see Christian in episode 2 of the Yes and podcast.
Exactly.
Which is
what
crazy.
What are you doing here? What are you
I feel
doing?
like
Go
all of a
watch
sudden my
episode
mic
2.
went really loud. Okay, it's not. I'm just loud myself. It's fine.
Real,
We all already knew
real
that,
and
though.
true.
As I just laugh into the mic.
But yeah, so keeping on kind of like this wavelength, how has adjusting to college been, fellas?
I'll take this
How's
one.
the classes
I'll
been,
take
you
this
know?
I live on campus. I have an amazing roommate. My roommate is an international business major, so we're probably
Ooh.
just the starkest difference, but it works.
We love Daniel, though.
But it works. Yes, we love Daniel. I'm a bad writer, so I'm not enjoying most of my English class, but love the professor, love the content we talk about, but I'm just bad at writing. But all my other classes, I love. I enjoy the backstage. I love Rob. We love Rob.
Real.
We love
real and
Rob.
true. We love Rob.
I love all my theater classes. I'm having a great time. What about you, Ray?
What about you, Ray?
Well, that's a really,
the clearing of the
really
voice.
good question. Straight A's.
Yes,
double
and.
major.
Oh
Yes,
yes,
and.
No, I'm kidding. That was an
a
absolute
scholar.
joke. I
A
wish.
scholar, if you
You
will.
wish. What would you double major in if you could?
What would I double major?
Yeah.
I'd say I'd probably double in
Psychology?
It's like-
Ooh, yeah,
No, I knew it. I knew it. I knew it.
I
Yeah,
actually have
can-
no idea what I would double major.
You should minor in psychology, because you
That'd
can
be
definitely get that done in time. Because
Well-
I'm a BFA and I have a double minor in creative writing and
As an
psychology.
MT?
Nice.
I'm as a BFA.
Well, yeah, I know you're.
But I think you could. Yeah. Well, I mean, because the BFA is right. The BFA is extra qualification. So if you're
That's true.
MT, I feel like. Well, also because I think you could. Just talk to your advisor about.
I would just have to actually catch up on my own classes first.
The advisors in the theater department are phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
By the
Love
way.
them.
Amazing.
Because I went from being undeclared to being declared, and it cleared my brain up so much. Because I really wanted to, do all the fun stuff. And then I went in and I talked to Jay Shan, who was on the first episode of the podcast. And I was like, Jay Shan, can we make this happen? And Jay Shan was like, you're crazy, but yeah. And so, but
Here we are.
and here we
Now
are.
look what happened.
Real.
Yeah,
But sorry,
but,
continue.
Yeah, for me, I did have some, I'd say, slight trouble adjusting
setbacks.
some setbacks, because I'm a commuter,
Real.
and so it has been a struggle. It's definitely been a struggle catching up on schoolwork and keeping up with my classes as well as the show, as well as social life and personal life, because
Yeah.
stuff happens. But now I'd say I'm catching up a lot using the school's resources.
Real and true.
Jesus Christ.
Right.
Like,
The
thank God.
LRN is amazing.
Thank
the
you,
Writing
LRN.
Center is amazing. Thank you, Writing Center. So, using the resources that we have, talking to KP, who is like our built-in theater therapist. Hello.
Thank you, KP.
Thank you, KP.
We love KP so much in this household.
Really. Yeah, I've been starting to catch up. It is definitely a process. But
Yeah.
it's really coming together, and I'm very glad about the experiences that I've been able to have, and that
Yeah.
I'm able to do this show, and that I'm able to kind of teach myself how to work through all of this,
Yeah.
even though, I started pretty rough.
Yeah.
Christian's back.
Christian's back.
Christian's back
Hi,
for some
Christian.
reason.
No, but I mean, I agree because I think starting college is a big learning experience. Like,
Oh, definitely.
I learned a ton
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
myself last year.
It's almost at like grad school. That's
Yeah.
insane.
You're not supposed to have it on the first go.
No.
So
That's true.
No,
That is
you're
true.
really
the fact
not.
that it's getting better this soon
Yeah.
is a good
I mean,
sign.
my first college roommate, shout out to Emily. I miss Emily so
Emily,
much.
thank you, Emily.
She transferred after first semester, and it wasn't because of like the school. It was just like she realized that she didn't want to. She was a chem major. She realized that she didn't want to do chemistry anymore. Chemistry is why she came to Arcadia, and so she kind of just made the decision to transfer. But like it was like stuff like that. It's like there's like things don't always like work out on the first try, whether that be the major that you're doing or that be like the classes that you're taking, or like if you're a commuter or like whatever else. Because I know Zay, who we'll probably have on the podcast one day. I love them so
please.
much.
Love Zay.
Zay last year first semester was a commuter, and then Zay moved onto campus second semester and is living on campus currently just because they
Probably-
found it like
Probably
easier.
my plan.
Yeah, probably. I find a lot of people who are commuters like they definitely they try to do as much for the commuters as they can, but there's just something different about like living on campus in college, which I think
Especially-
it's a big independence thing. I think too.
Especially because this campus is very small
Yeah,
and
Yes.
Which,
everything's very
I don't know about
walkable-
you guys,
Everything's very walkable.
I like.
Oh,
being
I love
inside.
that.
I love
That's
it so
one thing
much.
Because
I was
again, I've
looking
gone to
for.
a small school my whole life, so I was like, I cannot do one of the big state
Oh, yeah,
schools. That's
definitely-
terrifying.
That's definitely one thing I was looking for.
As a commuter, it's less to travel, so I am
Oh,
not complaining
true.
at all.
Real and true.
Real and true.
Question for you,
Yes,
because you're from Virginia.
I am.
I'm from Florida, so I understand the whole moving away.
Yeah.
What has that been like for you?
Definitely difficult.
Yeah.
But I'm no stranger to making new friends. So that part
Real.
was really exciting for me, just to meet new people. 'Cause
Yeah.
I love meeting new people. And being so close to Philly,
Mm-hmm.
the hub of theater, which is so nice.
Yeah.
I'm very, very thankful for that.
Yeah. Have you gone to see any shows, both of you? Like any shows in Philly? Because there's a lot of theaters.
I went
have,
to
actually.
this theater called Quintessence. I think I'm
Quintessence?
Quintessence.
Quintessence.
Wow.
You got there. You got there.
We made it. We made it.
Wow.
It's a joint effort. It's a team.
Right.
It's a
Right.
team.
I saw.
Theater, community. Right.
That's embarrassing. I saw Major Barbara, which is a very good play.
Oh yeah. How
and
was that? I remember you were gonna say it.
Great. It was. I really thought I didn't know much about the show. I read it and I was like, I really don't think I'm gonna like this. I'm just here for the for the program and the ticket.
Mm-hmm.
But I saw it and it was so much fun. It was about this
Yeah.
this kind of like rich family in like Europe or whatever. It's about the Salvation Army and this rich family, but the daughter doesn't want anything to do with the wealth and just wants to do make her own wealth and stuff.
Yeah.
So she is a what's it called? She's like the head of like something at a Salvation Army camp,
Mm-hmm.
and her dad comes back and it was like oh, I'd like to buy the Salvation Army, and she's like, no, I don't want your money.
Oh,
And yeah,
the drama.
the drama, yes.
I really like that.
Slay.
The synopsis.
That synopsis
that's,
is very
That's
nice.
probably the first and second act.
Real.
Yep.
Real.
That's real.
Yeah.
I've actually wanted to see theater in Philly so bad. The productions that I've been able to see are the ones that my friends were in.
Real.
I saw a production of SpongeBob the musical. It was
The excitement.
I was
it
in
was
that.
it was
Really?
oh,
I was
nice.
Patchy.
You told me about that. That was so
Yep.
cute. It was a kids performance from Music Theater Philly, which is this program that allows kids to, gain theater experience and do like
Yeah.
really cool shows. It's
Sick.
where I saw Boundless, the original
Oh yeah.
musical. I saw SpongeBob there. They're currently doing Mean Girls, and they hire some
go see
like
that somewhere.
amazingly talented kids and put on some great productions. So,
Hell
if
yeah.
if you see that, if you know about it or you want to
Yeah.
look at it, go check it out because they're great. And I saw YPTC is the summer program that is at the Venice Island Performing Arts Center. My friend was in that. She did Percy Jackson the musical. She was Wednesday in Addams Family. They put on some amazing productions, and they like do a really good job. They put on Freaky Friday, which my friend saw.
Oh,
Slay.
yeah.
We know Ray loves Freaky Friday.
My friends did Freaky Friday, I think, this past summer. I
get
think
me
one of them was like directing, I think, too.
Don't
which is
get
really
me
fun.
started.
But-
Oh,
even, man.
don't get me started. But yeah, and I saw those. I saw an improv game, for an improv performance. It was great.
I
They
remember
were-
doing that
they
for
were- for Tasha.
for Tasha's.
Thank you, Tasha.
Thank you,
they were
Tasha.
doing-
Acting 1, improv.
They were doing an improvisational game of Clue. It was
That sounds so fun.
It was so fun,
That's
and it
kinda
was
fun.
so
Oh my god.
funny. I loved it so much, and I left very happy.
Yeah.
And so yeah, those are some of my theater experiences. But a lot of the shows in Philly are like amazing. Like and
Yeah.
going to places
There's
like
a
the Kimmel
lot
Center.
of theaters in Philly,
Oh,
which
yeah,
is
for sure.
completely crazy, which I had no clue about.
Me either.
Yeah. Well, I did Kevin again, who was on the first episode of the podcast.
Love Kevin.
We love Kevin.
Love Kevin.
I was in Kevin's my seminar class last year because you have to take a seminar class as a
first
freshman, first semester freshman at Arcadia. But the one that I took was theater in Philly, and there's like literally I think it's like some random number of like in the hundreds that there's like hundreds
yeah.
and hundreds of
Yeah,
theaters
yeah,
just in like
Really?
Philly. I think it's something I don't want to say a number because I feel like I'll be wrong. But like
525,600. I'm so sorry. That was a run. I'm sorry.
No. But we went to see a bunch of stuff in person. Like we went to I think there was like 3 or 4 shows that we went to see in person. So like we literally like all like the whole class, like it was like 20 people and Kevin like got on the subway and like took a bus and
I'm doing that
everything.
this Friday.
So
It was it's
I'm
really,
not even in the class. He just
it's-
asked me.
It's such a
wish I
fun
could.
experience because then you get to go sometimes like Kevin will like invite other like people to go
Right.
and see stuff too. And I remember the first time I think that we went out in like to go see a thing, we saw a play called Speech, which was really, really good. And I don't remember what theater it was at. But afterwards, we were it was like gonna be like a certain amount of time before we were gonna be able to get back on the subway because our subway wasn't coming for a while. And so Kevin was like, "Do we go wait at the subway station, or do we go and walk in the other direction and go get insomnia cookies?" And everyone went, "Cookies!" And then we all followed
Oh,
Kevin down
yeah.
the streets of
It's
Philly
so
like he was our father
good.
duck.
Yes.
It was so funny.
Wait,
But
I feel like I know exactly which one you're talking about.
I
On
wouldn't
Broad
know.
Street?
I've been to
true.
Philly, I think probably like 6 whole times in my life, and that's not including going to the airport, which I've done several
Oh,
times.
right.
since then. Which is really nice because the Glenside has a train station that you can literally just ride it all the way
Oh,
to the
yeah.
end of the rails to go
That's
to the
great. Yeah.
airport, which I was like, thank God.
That's cool.
Public
Regional
transport has been
rail.
a thing that I've tried to figure it out because I'm like, we don't have that where I'm from.
Me neither. Well, we have the buses, but
Yeah.
there's like one train, but that goes like just out of.
What?
Yeah.
We don't really like have
There's
trains.
just,
Well,
like,
I'm
one
I'm
like-
from like a little peninsula,
Right.
guy across from Tampa, and that is crazy to go through because I'm like there's no trains. Like we're surrounded by water. We mainly like everyone like takes a car everywhere. It's not really that walkable
Yeah,
either.
yeah.
So
Mine-
it's like it's been a very different experience.
Yeah, where I'm from, it's not very walkable either.
Yeah.
As a Philadelphia native, I grew up like in the tracks. Like I was like, like
You were one
I-
with the track.
yeah, like my
You're trying not to laugh into the mic.
My-
As
my-
if laughter's illegal
Yeah,
here.
no,
Right.
my first second home was City Hall. No, that's actually a joke. I had no idea about a lot of the things in Philly until like my freshman year of high school.
Yeah.
Because I always like stayed with my family and we just like moved around everywhere. And I didn't. But once I hit like 4th or 5th grade is when I started using public transportation.
I can't
Wow.
imagine that.
I've been doing that since like then, and for you to say that
God.
there was only like one train,
There's no
it's not
trains
like,
where
it's
I'm
not like a
from.
train kind of town.
It's just crazy.
like that makes sense, but it blows my mind.
There's like a
'cause
tram in our
there's-
downtown.
There's so
That's
it blows my mind because there's the Broadsheet line, there's the Market Frankfurt line, there's the Patco line, there's the Regional Rail, there's the
I didn't know
there's
any
the
of
trolleys.
those. Oh, really?
There's so
I got the
many.
I know the Wilmington. That's it.
No, but it just shocks me because it's just like
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a
Yeah.
thing. But
Yeah.
also
No.
I didn't know a lot about my own city until
That's
like
true.
5 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my
it's,
lord.
It's wild.
Very,
it's definitely.
very drivable. It's mostly drivable, but if
Yeah.
you don't have a car, you take the bus.
Well,
Yeah. If you don't have a car, you beg one of your friends who has a car
It's
to take
just
you
actually
somewhere.
true.
from where
I
I'm
actually don't know anyone who rode the bus where I'm from. It because we're
Yeah.
so close to the highway, and the highway just connects like just everything.
from. Real.
Just everything. You see, if you don't have a car, you're kind of just like
You're just.
That's crazy.
That's
I
wild.
grew up
So wild.
wishing I had a car and being forced to go on the
Yeah.
bus. Oh, it sucks. I
Yeah.
mean, public transportation is great. Come to Arcadia.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, no, I have to say, like, it was a little bit scary trying to navigate that. Although I will say the really nice thing was that I got a SEPTA card from Kevin's class.
Ooh, yes.
Because
Oh,
so I didn't
nice.
have to sign up for one on my own, which I was like, thank God. And it was before I had to go home for Thanksgiving break,
Yep.
because otherwise, having to figure that out by myself, I would have been like, oh my God.
no, dude, it takes a good like it takes it like
It makes me so anxious, but like also I'm really glad I have it, so I don't have to worry about like trying to like pay for an Uber to like go to and from the airport.
Yeah. Well, see, one thing that is very helpful if you do not know how any like the train station or anything works, get you a friend that knows.
Very
how
much
it
Exactly.
so.
works.
Oh
That
my
is from
God.
you
here.
can call on me.
Because
Yeah.
I
I'd be like, Ray.
yeah, I'm either like, Ray,
Please.
how does this work? How do I get this? Or my friend Carly, I'm just like, Carly, I don't know where I'm going. I need to get from here to here. Tell me
For
how.
real.
So
No, it was
Okay.
really the first time I
So we
went
do that, the
home
Laramie Project.
was for
Sorry.
was for Thanksgiving break last year, and thank God I was going home on the same day as my friend Ashton and Michelle. And Michelle's from Oklahoma and is now one of my roommates, and Ashton's also from Florida. So we were like, I don't know how this works. So we all walked to this train station, and thank God, like Michelle had already I think taken it like once, so she kind of knew what we were doing, and I was just following her blindly. I
Oh,
was
yeah.
like, I don't know how to do
Real.
this.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing that I've discovered is that on the app when you're coming back from the airport, it doesn't like say what time it leaves from the airport. So I would always like have to wait like an extra 45 minutes. And as a Floridian standing outside in like 37-degree weather for 45 minutes, I'm like dying.
That's real.
I'm like, please, where the hell did the sun go? But
That's real. That's
Yeah.
so entirely very real. I get that. Public transportation is
wild.
love and hate. Love and hate.
Love and hate. It's
Love and
it's
hate.
really helpful, but also it's
But also
I
hate
appreciate
it.
the public transportation.
Yeah.
We
Yes,
appreciate
we
it.
appreciate
it.
Thank you, SEPTA.
Thank you.
Thank-
Thank you. Well,
We're glad you're here.
Yeah.
I can get to school. That's what
Yes.
matters.
real
That's
and
what
true.
matters.
Yeah.
It's a
Okay.
process. It's a learning process.
Switching gears again, back to the Laramie Project.
Back to our regular scheduled program.
So the Laramie Project, yes, is based off of real events, real people. How does that affect your approach to the characters, knowing that these are real people? And also, we talked about it in the other podcast because Rose is playing Barbara Pitts, but you guys
Right.
got to meet
Yes,
Barbara
we
Pitts.
did.
Which,
Yes,
like,
we
how,
did.
one, what was that like? And two, how did that like change your perspective? And then also the original question of how does your approach to your characters change, knowing that this is real people?
It was kind of just like, because obviously you look up the person who you're playing because it's a real person, and you're like, oh, it's a real person. This is their name. This is what they like to do. Blah blah blah. But then you meet a person that was a part of the project
Yeah.
who wrote it, and then everything just kind of clicks, and it's just like this is real. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's something just like fell into place. I'm just like, this is real. These are
That's
real
real.
people.
Yeah.
For me, I've always been into like a bunch of stories like similar to like the beginning of Matthew Shepard, just like really surprising events in history, whether they're like man-made or like natural disasters, stuff like that. I've always looked into stuff like that because it's always intrigued me. Like, this happens?
Yeah.
Like, this is
Right.
crazy.
Yeah.
Right.
Like for my freshman year seminar, we're doing Shock of the '60s, and we had to watch a movie. It's Mississippi Burning. Intense. intense movie, and it's
Yeah.
really just like it's really shocking because it's based on true events. And with the Laramie Project, meeting Barbara Pitts was incredible. It was
Yeah.
amazing to be able to get some insight on the people that
Yeah.
we're working with every time we go into our rehearsal space and work to put on that show. But it was also just like a reminder
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
this was 1998. That was not that long ago, y'all.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Like 25 years. Hello, that
Yeah.
was insane. And meeting her, like she's gorgeous. She's beautiful. She has great hair.
Slay.
But like seeing her in person, it's just like, wow,
Yeah.
you're here. The people that you worked with to make the show that we're doing right now.
Yeah,
that is a periodic, like not period
Yeah.
piece, but like it's like it's a true story, like a story that we're retelling that's
Yeah.
been retold constantly. And you're right here. Like you are a part of the story and
Yeah.
you're standing right in front of me. It's really surreal to go through because
Yeah.
it's just you look at things like the beating of Matthew Shepard or just like historic events that are like, like either traumatizing or just like really intense in history, and
Yeah.
you're just thinking like, wow, either this was so long ago or this was like, wow, this happened at this time. But then you realize it was not that long ago. And
Yeah.
things like that
Like
still
your
happen
brain
now.
kind of disconnects from it.
Right.
Because you're hearing about it and you're like, wow, that's real. But then it's like to meet someone who is like there, or at least I'm imagining, like is like there's a physical component that is added to that then, because you can actually like physically see someone who is there. I think I don't know who was mentioning it, but I think Rosa was saying that like literally like she like pulled up her phone and was like, I'm gonna text Lee about this, who's someone
Right.
else in the
Exactly.
show, to ask like that
was crazy.
that's crazy.
Like,
and
you're just gonna
you're
pull
like
up and
realizing
text
you're like, oh, these
these
are
are
real
real
people.
people.
They actually were there for like over a year.
Yeah.
And
They-
they like
yeah.
they all know each other. They probably still keep in contact. Like this is a big thing that happened in their lives, even if they weren't like just it's a big thing. And it's like, wow. Because I know we were also talking about with Kevin and Jayshan about how like a big part of the dramaturgy was kind of trying to make sure that everyone in the cast kind of like understood, like, because like we weren't alive then,
Right.
but like it wasn't that long ago at the same time. But it's like, oh, like they were talking about how like making sure that they pointed out like, oh, like the line about how Aaron had to go run to the nearest house because there wasn't cell phones.
Right.
And it's like having us put that mentality on and like all that kind of stuff. So it's like a weird like mix between a disconnect but also like this is real, and then realizing
because it's so close. Like
Yeah.
this, he died 7 years before I was born. Like it
Yeah.
was 1998. I was born 2005, and like thinking about that, it's just like
Yeah.
that's way closer than I would have
yeah
imagined. Like
Yeah.
all of this being and. Just the experience of going through this show, I don't know. I feel really lucky to be able to do this.
Oh yes.
yeah
Because even though, like, it's something that happened in history, we're still bringing it back. Like, it's not too far back for it to be like, oh, it happened so long ago.
yeah
But it's close enough for us to be like, hey, guys, remember this? Like, these things still happen. This is really important.
Yeah.
Like, please listen to the story.
like
And,
it's something
yeah.
that's like important that still needs to be discussed in
Yeah.
like society, because there's stuff that's happening like that every single day,
Yeah.
which is really 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 sad to, if you start thinking about it.
And and we've, like, given that we have to, like, just hash over the script and put
Yeah.
on the show over and over again, we have to think about it a lot. And we really, like, one of the most, like, heart-sinking moments in the show would be Dennis Shepard's monologue at the end.
Yeah.
That Christian
Christian
who
plays
is
Dennis Shepard.
Shepard.
Yeah.
Come see him on November 16th.
Come see him.
No,
Yeah.
but seriously, like, that
It's-
moment,
Oh my god.
it's so heart-wrenching, and
It's- yeah.
it really the show does a really good job of putting so many perspectives on something so harrowing.
Yeah.
And it's something that's it's just really important. It's just
Yeah.
really, really important.
Yeah. How, kind of going off of something like that, like talking about how it has like so many different perspectives. We were talking about it a bit with some of the other conversations, both in the first and second episode, of both how you approach, as with Kevin talking about like how you approach trying to inform actors of like stuff that they might not agree with, of like things that they're portraying and stuff like that, and then also like how is that for you guys, of like, was there a hurdle there? Is it something that you like like didn't like you've had to do before, so it was like kind of like just putting yourself into the mindset of like something that you don't agree with, or was that a point of struggle?
You got this.
Okay. Thank you.
So you're like, go ahead.
But for me, like when we met Barbara, because I know Rosa talked about this too, was seeing the layers that these people had.
Yeah.
And just understanding that these were people with their own lives, and that, you know, our first thoughts or impressions of them don't match what we see or what we hear. And just the surprise of knowing that these people have said these things or thought these things or done these things, it's just really shocking. And with Jedediah Schultz in the show, seeing his growth and like his arc throughout the piece is something that really kind of helps that stick out, because we see people that don't really get that arc, or we don't see that arc, and it's just like, oh, well, we know that that's how they believe it. We know that that's how they probably will believe it for a long time, or just for the rest of their life. And so I'm fortunate enough to not play any characters that have the views of, you know, bigotry and any of the more problematic sides of the show. But seeing that being portrayed is something that I'm kind of getting into the mindset of not being comfortable with, but understanding that that is around me, and that's something that I can't change. You know, like, this is like, it's scripted, so it's not like I'm going to be like, oh, don't make him say that anymore. It's for the sake of the show. But I feel like if I was in that time, like, I would just be understanding. Like, if I had the power to if I was like with the Tectonic Theatre Company and was working on the show, like, I would understand that some of these people you can't change.
Yeah.
Or some of these people aren't going to be exactly, oh my gosh, homophobia.
Yeah,
but they aren't always
humans are complicated.
Yeah, they're very complicated because the story is complicated, and it's really just upsetting to see how things can come about when talking about or dealing with people like this. Like, Barbara Pitts brought up the Laramie Project 10 years later, which is their sequel show.
Yes.
There's a sequel.
There's a sequel show. It's the Laramie Project 10 years
back.
later. Yeah, and they conduct interviews with a bunch of other people, and that's like another opportunity to see those arcs with possibly people that we didn't see before. How the town received, the beating of Matthew Shepard and the attention that it received from like the media and everything. And it's really shocking. It's really surprising what we heard about it. So if you wanna hear about that, like, look into it, because it is
I definitely will, because I did not know that was a thing.
It's really enlightening. It's really enlightening. So yeah.
Yeah, Blake.
What was the question?
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
It was like now I'm forgetting.
It's okay.
It was how
You
do you
put two
approach
ADHDers in a podcast
Right,
together, and I'm
right.
like, what were we talking about? Kind of about like how difficult characters and how that is to like play characters that you might not agree 100% with their views, and if that was challenging or not.
To an extent, I feel like it's healthy to keep a distance from your characters, but also you have to play them, you have to be them for the show. So in that part, it is difficult reading that and portraying that, but also on the other side of it, I think it is important to see all sides of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Hard agree.
I do agree. Yeah.
All right. I think we're gonna wrap it up. Any other thoughts, just in general, about the Laramie Project, freshman year, just in general, how life's going? Anything?
Come to the Laramie Project November
Oh, yeah.
16th.
Real.
No, sorry.
That's how everyone has
No,
ended
but,
the
like-
podcast.
Is it really?
It's,
Yeah,
it's
November
really funny.
16th through the 19th.
No, but like really do. Like it's gonna be a really impressive show.
Yeah. But like on a real note, it is really like not just see the show because we love you guys and we want you to see the show, because we do, but also it's just
Tickets are pay what you can, so you can technically pay $0.
um
Just the whispering, just
but no, it's a really, really important show.
yeah.
It is a heavy show, so viewer discretion. There are some very serious moments and topics mentioned and perspectives given that you may be uncomfortable with, but I think that's also part of the lesson of the story, is to understand that there are uncomfortable things happening.
Yeah.
And taking that with you when you leave, so you can understand that for yourself and find out what you want to do with that information. because things
Yeah.
like these still happen, and it's really important to move forward with that.
Yeah. Agreed. Blake?
Yep.
anything?
Finn is behind the camera, just giving me like a stank, like agreeing face, just like yes.
Just like, yes. Thank you,
I-
Finn. We love Finn so
We
much.
love Finn. Thank
Yes,
you,
we love
Finn.
Finn's my little partner in crime in this podcast.
Amazing.
So you'll meet Finn one day, 100%.
Oh, that'd be so much fun.
Slay. Thank you, Finn.
I really got nothing. We kind of hit all the bullet points. Come see Laramie.
The OK
Yeah.
Corral. We shot down the villains. We sent the prostitutes on the train.
Christian,
That's a line from the show, by the way. Yeah,
Come see
yeah.
the show November
Come see-
16th.
And you'll understand the reference.
I know, yeah.
Exactly.
But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Keep an eye out for things to come up, and keep an eye out for the Laramie Project. Hopefully this one will also go up before the Laramie Project, because we got 3 podcasts that are coming out. So
Stay
fingers
tuned.
crossed. We're about to go into Tech Week.
Can-
Good luck to
Yeah.
both
Can
of
we do
you
the
in
yes
that.
and
And
thing?
thank you, Zara.
Yes. Oh my God.
Yes,
For context, I know I mentioned in the previous episode of how we came up with the podcast name, that because I say yes and in conversation all the time. Fun fact, I was actually with these two hooligans and Finn.
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 And we basically were doing just a silly little leg yes and moment, and Finn was like, that should be the name of the podcast, and I was like, oh my God, that's genius.
It's amazing.
So
It's mind
Ray really
breaking.
wants us to do this on the podcast, but so we're gonna go.
All right, here
Ready?
we go. I'll see you later. Thank
Ready?
you for tuning in.
Thank you so much for watching. Ready? 3,
One.
2, 1.
Yes, and. That's theater, guys.
That's theater.
That's theater.
That's theater.
Awesome.
And cut.
And
And cut.